According to your guidance, I would decide to move on. I know who I am is unconditional love.
You can't do anything other than move on.
Okay, loud and clear. Got it.
Because you can't stand still.
Okay.
You can't stand still.
Okay. So is it okay I try to get every penny?
You have apparently activated a tremendous stream of shortage consciousness in this room. And revenge. We want to ask you all, what influence are you under when you feel that way? And we want to point out to you and all of them who are on your side that felt way sweeter. Revenge always feels better. Revenge feels better than powerlessness, and it feels better than being taken advantage of, and apparently that's where you all are on the emotional scale. And that's why we said earlier to ask for everything that you think is fair. Do you think every penny is fair?
Of course. Unless you tell me otherwise.
Well, we want you to understand that abundance is flowing to you, and certainly it should flow from that avenue. Certainly it should. We want you, in your moving forward, to acknowledge that things are always working out for you, and that very pushing against that made that feel like relief to all of you is not serving you in terms of your true abundance. It implies that your abundance comes through a source that is trying to cut you off. And so now you're fighting a battle, and we have to ask you, what influence are you under? What do you want to demonstrate? Being tuned into source energy or being on the revenge path? This is big. And you all apparently needed to hear it. We're having fun with you, sorta. But you get what we're talking about. And so we want you to know that well-being will continue to flow to you. And we certainly understand why your heart feels like that right now. But we want you to know that when you're under the influence of source, you don't feel that kind of revenge. Instead, you feel satisfaction and beyond. You feel appreciation for what you have. You feel appreciation for what's coming. Feel appreciation for what still is coming. You don't try to understand what happened. That will make you crazy. But you look for your own stability in this process, and you expect the universe to yield to you. You expect source to yield to you. It's like children. So often parents seem to teach their children, and children certainly catch on to it fast, that all of their abundance comes through you to me. And so it causes children to be extra needy with their parents and whiny to their parents. And if parents give into that, and maybe they've even promoted it, it teaches the children something that is not true. It teaches them that their source is their parent, or that their source is that person. And that's not accurate at all. Look at the vulnerability that puts you in when you believe that that is your source of well-being, that that is your source of abundance. Look how unstable you are when that source decides to go someplace else. You don't want to encourage that to feel like your source. You want to know that the universe is abundant with well-being that is flowing to you. And of course, you want to advocate for your own well-being. And of course, there will be those who will do that for you. But if you go into any of that encounter and you push really hard against what most everybody thinks you should push hard against, you know who you're really pushing hard against? You. When you push hard against this, look what you're doing to you. When you put pressure on anything, the pressure is on you, you see. And that's not who you are. That's not what this path of least resistance and path of most allowance is. But when you get out there ahead of yourself and you think, but this is the only path I can see, and therefore I've really got to advocate for that path, that's all right too. It's all right to want all that you can get. Just don't ask for every penny, and just don't be vengeful in the process of it.
So in other words, listen to my lawyer? Is that maybe a little bit too physical term? I would not have asked this question if his mistress were not a divorce lawyer. So am I coming out of the fear inside me? But
well, first of all, you're in a really logical place. Everybody understands it. And you're also doing what most humans would do. And when you do what most humans would do, you'll come out of it, you'll survive it, and it'll be all right, and it'll sort out however it sorts out. We just don't think that you should have to be miserable during all of that sorting out. You will be. Because anger is misery in comparison with love, and hatred is misery in comparison with alignment, and confusion is misery in comparison with clarity, and instability is misery in comparison with stability. You've got some choices that you get to make. What we're demonstrating here, and we want you to hear it, is so much of the world still believes, the physical world still believes, the human world still believes, that the way I get to what I want is by pushing against what I don't want. So there's a war against poverty, and a war against drugs, and a war against teenage pregnancy, and a war against this, and all of them are getting bigger, because you can't push against anything without activating your vibration and activating your path of least resistance and getting more of it. The universe doesn't work that way, you see.
So just flow is life.
Feel your way, meditate, and get into that place, and then follow the impulse. And we're not saying lay down like a doormat. We're not saying give in to anything everybody wants. We're saying stay true to what you want. But there's a big difference between being true to what you want and pushing against the other. And there are several comments that you made today, and we don't blame you. No one does. You're pushing hard against them. You see them sort of as your enemy. And you can't be pushing against your enemy and asking for your salvation at the same time. You can't be solution-oriented and problem-oriented at the same time. In other words, you got to pick a path, and your inner being's already chosen it. And when you choose the same path that your inner being has chosen, you'll feel wonderful. You'll feel light and free, and good things will come to you.
So the path I'm not on, does that mean I need to go hug my enemy? Or treat my enemy?
That's extreme.
Not extreme. Or don't see them as an enemy.
It means get into alignment and see how you feel. That's what it means. We could tell you all the things that are going to happen, and you couldn't even hear it right now, because until you're in alignment, nothing that we say even makes any sense. When you're in that vengeful mode, when you're in that getting even mode, then your impulse is different things. Sugar in the gasoline tank, slashing tires, throwing clothes out the window. You're under a different influence when you're not under the influence of your source. And so you got to get under the influence and then follow the impulse, you see. Do you feel like a victim?
I am on the way out of it.
That's a really good thing to ask yourself, because if you feel like a victim, the universe will victimize you. People that you don't even know will victimize you. But if you feel sure, and if you feel good, and if you feel on top of this, and if you know who you are, and if you've got your inner being flowing with you, and you feel solid, then that's the way the universe treats you. Because cooperative components are being gathered around however you feel. And there's no one who doesn't understand why you would feel that way. It's just not good for you. It just doesn't serve you. And no victim ever gets even. You never get even. There's no bottom to that. So right now, you have more control than later. So what do you want as your future experience? You want to push against these two forever? You want to teach your children how to push against them? You want them to be the reason that they're not in alignment with Source? You want that to be the reason that your children don't even know about their own guidance system? You want that to be the reason that your children don't have a guidance system that's active, and so they can't tell what they really want to do? Do you want to catch it while you can? It's amazing that you're even close to this. You're going to catch it while you can, and then.
There's a potential regret of feeling I'm trying to clear with you, if I may. The reason I want to continue to save my marriage is I want to be able to tell my children and myself, I have done everything possible. So I won't have any regret.
Well, tell them that now, because you have. And then we would like you to tell your children, life is an adventure. And there are so many experiences in life, and every one of them gives us clarity, and we take a bounce. And everything that happens, we become sure and clearer and more. And sometimes when things happen, we don't think we want them to. But when we get down the road a little bit, then we can see clearly the value of it. And so this is not a bad thing that's happening. Even though it feels like it is, this is not a bad thing that is happening.
Thank you. Can I have, during the worst timing of this process, I fell into the trap of, I lost a big sum of money to a phone scam.
That's what happens when you feel like a victim.
Right.
It's all right. That's done. Don't talk about it anymore.
Can I get the money back? How can I get the money back?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Not when you feel like that. When you're a victim, good stuff goes and bad stuff comes.
So if I buy a deck of cards of abundance and money and meditate every day, can I get it back?
Yep. But not from them. It'll come through other sources. When you turn your attention there and you want that, then you lose your connection. Are you following all of this?
Got it. One last question. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer December, when all those things happening. How is she doing? Is there anything I can ask the universe to do for her? Or is there anything I could do for her?
Well, when you hold her as your object of attention, just make sure you're in the receiving mode. Don't get in your victim mode and then think about your mother. And that's when you're most likely to, under these conditions. But you're getting the 1, 2, 3 punch, but you're going to be all right. You're so close to being in the satisfactory side of the equation, and then it will go. So a lot of these things that you're wanting to ask about, you would ask entirely different questions when you get down the road a little bit. So just get tuned in. Everything is more well than you can see it right now through your lens of anger. Everything is more well than it feels like, but you got to get on the other side of that. You've got to see through the eyes of Source in order to understand what's in your vortex and what's coming for you. And if you're not under the influence of Source, and therefore you're not receiving the thoughts of Source, and therefore you're not following the impulse of Source, then it's a different thing that's happening. This was a really pivotal conversation. One of the best conversations we've ever had with anyone about anything ever. And you all got to be in on it. Really.